Welcome to a new day in the factory. As you can see, I'm transporting in red and green science via a train. I'm sometimes transporting in blue and purple science via a train. I'm also transporting in yellow and white science via a train, but they are not yet mass-produced and they are only produced near the cargo landing pad. And then I'm just transporting them here just so I have a little backup storage in the train station. Hello Kana, thank you for lurking and redeeming first. And I also have military science right here. I don't think that's constant enough or producing enough. I shall hydrate. And you can also see already how many trains there are going through the place. I had done a lot. I haven't streamed for, I think, almost 3 weeks in terms of Factorio. I have expanded my borders a little bit more to the north. So now this is one border there. I guess, yeah, the tag was already added there. And I might still push up a little bit more or later cut off there somewhere and somewhere around here. Most of this is already covered by artillery. So I could cut off right there. And then this is already cut off, and my current defense strategy is just having a bunch of Tesla turrets. Theoretically, if there were a lot of enemies, they might go past, but I think all of them would somehow be hit by walking lightning. So I didn't really care about adding walls or making this a closed system. And it's of course also fun to just build over water with a bunch of roboports and then add a artillery train. And this will be delivered and then supported by a few artillery shells, and then these will shell a bunch more of those biters. And there's also still an issue on Fulgora where I have to do something to a plastic train, because currently there is no place where plastic trains want to go. I might also declare this to be manual, and then it will not complain anymore. Right now I'm producing plastic here by recycling low density structures, and then either they would go into a train or I would recycle the plastic to death, basically, in a loop. Right now there's just the problem that I don't yet recycle green circuits. That would be very helpful if I did that. Then I could get more iron plates and also copper cables. Right now I don't have too many low density structures anymore. I have mostly red and blue circuits. And I guess that's also hindering this planet from producing much science. All the science is currently train-based, at least in this region. There is still a little bit of non-train based science in this part of the map. But it's also, well, it's currently stuck because maybe I'm not using that science, but if I were to use it, it would get used up and not produce as fast as I might consume it. But at the moment I don't really care about the planetary sciences. I want to improve yellow science. I do have purple science automated via a train right here, supported by rail production above, with a bunch of stone lanes coming directly from this offset mine. And then a bunch of steel and iron rods or sticks. Everything provided by molten iron trains. And I have always mixed trains with purple and blue. This produces the furnaces and the modules. I guess maybe both of them are currently lacking. I have to check if that's the case. Maybe the modules are lacking a bit more. But I'm currently still at a constant 557k science per minute in terms of the first 4 science packs. And I could just go on researching these sciences for a bunch of time. And sometimes I guess I did turn off something. I also sometimes had power issues, so that's why it wasn't constant for a while. And I also need to see whether consuming at such a high rate will at some point lead to problems. Maybe I can't produce as much constantly. I have to see that in action. So this should still produce enough blue science. This is backed up, no train is waiting there. I guess most trains are actually waiting for purple science, so I might have to look at this at some point. I think not all of them are constantly filled, yes. And I have a dummy station there, because I cannot reach the station that's below this tile. That's why I sometimes just use this one and copy settings and then paste them there. Apparently I need to produce more red circuits and deliver them faster. One of those things. And now one stopgap solution that might not actually do anything would be to just provide an additional lane to this place, or maybe rather further away. This already gets provided some there. And already the fireworks people outside are having a go at demolishing the world. Quite annoying. Don't know if you heard the bang. So this is my current red circuit factory. Provided by molten copper for the copper cables from multiple sides. I might have to add more of them. I will need to see what exactly... Okay, maybe molten copper is actually the issue. So I need to do something about that. Plastic, obviously. And green circuits are coming from basically the back of this factory. 8, I think. Let me count. Yeah, I guess 8 factories here are producing green circuits and also 8 factories on the other side. All of this is going into these trains, and then 4 green circuit factories per side are providing to this lane of belts, or these lanes of belts, which are then going towards the red circuit factory. And there I will have to provide more molten copper somehow. Not sure where that was, probably here. Load molten copper. Do I maybe not have enough trains? Or are some of these trains maybe not interested in going anywhere? So this wants to go to green circuits, but apparently sometimes there's no need for that. Oh yes. So this apparently can only accept 3 trains, and also yes, there's not much more space for more than 3 trains there, so I should maybe repurpose one of those trains. I'm actually just here. Sometimes I forget where I am because remote view is working quite nicely. So how about I look at this train and then I give it, or then I transfer the recipe there. And I want to know where this train is actually going. I guess it is going here. Is that anywhere where I need it? I don't quite know. This has 4 trains. And this is for red and green science packs. And also military science, which is slightly underproduced. Just 8 factories with a few beacons. So I might have to build an additional factory block for that somewhere. Not mix it in with red and green. I'm also interested in why I only have 50 frames sometimes. Might it be because map view is just slow, or maybe something is on my computer that I should rather turn off? Still not at 60 frames per second, but I guess it's a little bit better now. Also, I should rather use the other train setting for the molten copper. Or maybe I should give this a higher priority. I have to check what priority the other molten copper drop has. This has 50. So I should also give this a 50. There. Everything looks sort of samey, so it's difficult to figure things out. Hello, pseudo-algorithmic. So I shouldn't copy this right now. I should assign this a group. There's a copper trains group, but also this might be confusing. I want to have molten copper as the group item or group icon. That is molten copper. And I might just also write that out, just in case. And then once this train has arrived, wherever it arrives, I'll try to copy its schedule, or basically the setup for it. And then wherever I am now, I want to try to put it in multiple times. And then once the trains have been provided with some fuel, they should just go and do these jobs, which has happened to both of these trains now. So maybe now molten copper will be provided a bit more frequently. And another thing that I should do is find the actual station and then change these to legendary pumps. They will work a little bit faster, and then more of these trains can actually be filled in a shorter amount of time. Ideally, there would always be at least one train waiting right there while the other is being filled. Then I don't have too much of a downtime. So I will just use this place again, because no train should be going through here. And then I can basically just add more trains with this job. Need to look at this as well. Check if there's anything that I could do. I think right now it's limited by the output inserters, and I can't really add more output inserters. Maybe I now might just add more connections with belts to this balancer. Or this balancer up here. I guess that's rather low on copper cables. And I will actually go there, because sometimes it's better to do things manually, or to not be there only in remote view. I think this will be a mess, because I will certainly again just be doing things in a very chaotic manner and connect one thing to another and not have a proper balancing system for the outputs of this copper cable factory. At some point I will do that. So how about I also take some of these outputs, maybe everything that's not going to the right. Now I just need to find a way through here. Possibly this lane. Might even go one step further. Okay, this means more copper cables. I'm not sure if this was at all the limiting factor, but I could just take a look at the red circuits. I think the limiting factor recently was the amount of copper provided, molten copper in that case. So it was already a bit higher in the recent minutes, but now it seems to go even higher than that. Not sure if that's just anecdotal evidence. I might just also do the same thing on the other side, or at least provide more copper cables. So it would of course be weird to send through the copper cables within the factory building. I mean, I could even have more of those beacons, but I don't know if that many copper cables can even be taken away by belts. So how about that? And then I should also take the second lane of this. Might just send that to the fourth input slot of this balancer. And then this other one might go down here somewhere. I don't know if there's still a lag. I would need to count this. This would be 15 plus 4, so 19 inserter hands could work there. I guess if I want to be serious about balancing the output completely, I should use a 12 to 12 balancer. But it might also be overkill. So I want to balance this because sometimes there might be more on the right, or especially the output side, or this side might take more from one side than the other. I guess you can see here that the left side is taken more away and the right side of the copper cable stays in place more. So it would be good to balance this at some point, otherwise you can also see here the left side is emptier than the right side. So that might be a reason to balance every combined belt somehow, even if it might be futile to actually manage to do this. Might not even work. So how about that? It might not be too much, but too much is better than too little. And similarly, I might add an extra lane here somewhere. This will look quite weird again, because I will have something like this. And now on the other side there's still a lack of copper cable inputs. And now I want to look again whether anything is increasing with the red circuit production. I think it can't really go higher. It already has reached the limit of what it can do. And maybe at some point it will reach a limit because the output is full. But maybe that will require a few more trains doing this job. Want to also figure out how many trains there are doing this. I guess at the moment just 3. And probably this train will go away once it's full. No more need to set anything up. It just waited for the other train to go through the crossing, and then there is another train coming in. Might try to wait until This train is gone, and then place the next one. And it will already get filled by this fuel inserter, so I don't have to wait for robots to bring the fuel. I do have some attacks on Glabber. I also expanded my defenses to the left. So I guess initially it was about here, my latest line of defense, and then I went a few more radar ranges to the left. Might also have increased my artillery range. The biters are still very immobile, just standing there, probably waiting to despawn or something. I'm not sure about what is happening in the factory, probably... Oh, this is very backed up. I need to check my trash system, basically, where I send all the composting results. Some of these are not working fast enough, some of them are not working at all because they get nutrients. Ideally, I would send all the nutrients into such a system that basically just waits for the nutrients to spoil and then sends out the spoilage onto belts again. Yeah, I definitely shouldn't send the nutrients into this setup, at least not with priority. Now just the stuff that is too much will get sent to the right. And one thing that I might do now is set up a second lane here. And then do something like this. Replace some of those inserters. And then I will basically have twice the throughput once this is actually properly built. So some of these stacks will always turn into spoilage after a while, and then they will be taken out like that. And then I rather send the spoilage here and not the nutrients. And then most of these heating towers can actually get some spoilage rather than nutrients. The easiest thing to do might now just be to cut this. And then no more nutrients flow that way. I might do the same thing here. And it doesn't even matter whether I get nutrients or spoilage to this place. Both of these things should get transported into the chests. One problem might be if there is too much spoilage actually on the belts, so I will change all of these to bulk inserters, so they don't have to care what kind of item they have in their hand. Otherwise they might get stuck on spoilage and can't grab the nutrients anymore. Maybe now this way they will all take everything that they have. And I will send more stuff up to be put into this setup. And there's an sometimes empty line, so I might also provide this there. I wonder how fast this will fill up and how fast it will then spoil, and then how much at once will be spoilage. Would be nice to have a rather constant supply of spoilage going through here to always have the heat pipes at the maximum temperature. But yeah, I have this huge setup of steam turbines and also a few tanks full of steam in case it ever doesn't produce much steam in a short amount of time. And the overall factory that does most of the things is still very much contained in this area, plus these agricultural towers. I hope that the fruit in the hands of the inserter never spoils. That would be a problem. And I hope it also doesn't happen here. So the jelly is sort of full. The jelly lane, or the jelly, what's it called? Jelly nut. There's too much jelly nut on the belts. And it sort of doesn't go away. Because there are too many nutrients. Maybe I should send this in somewhere else. Where is this going? I think this is going down actually, so that's good. Maybe just combine it there. Might take a while until all of this is emptied. It's okay to just have one lane of this, or half a lane. And also this has lower priority than the already created jelly, so it will get thrown in anyway. What I don't want to have is that any of the agricultural towers are full of jelly. And then if the jelly spoils, it might lead to these inserters not being able to grab anything anymore. And now the research has stopped. So you can see the little dip at the end of the statistics. And then it will hopefully go up again in a moment. I don't know why it wouldn't. Maybe that's just how the statistics is tracked. Maybe that's sort of looking at the last 1 minute and doing an average, and while this little dip is in the average, it can't go up again. But now it's going up again. So where are my other towers? Just one up here. want to look at the jelly production. So that's quite high and very constant for over 50 hours, for over 250 hours. And the jelly nut production has been very fluctuating. Would also be nice to somehow control this. Basically only harvest if there's space in these machines, which might of course lead to some of the fruit being spoiled at some point. Or I have to take equally from each of the farms. And then always take the fruit that is least fresh. Now this should be a bit better. I don't know if the jelly production might be lower now. Because the chest is so full at the moment, it will insert onto the belt that will take it to the composting area. It will not go back onto the lane, which is this one, which will go back to the jelly processing. And I guess this is just the jump starting nutrients production with Yumako mesh. I guess this was a little detour to Gleber. And actually I'm still here, and now it seems like I have enough red circuits. I already have forgotten why I wanted them. Probably it had to do with these productivity modules, and they are now full, it seems. I also have enough of these electric furnaces. Not sure if the rails are now the bottleneck or just the production speed of these factories. Yeah, maybe not enough rails are going in, but this is also a mess and difficult to set up and think about all the combinations and how to get all the rails everywhere. For instance, I might also try taking this lane and sending this through, because this doesn't have 2 lanes per splitter. Doing a similar thing right here. Probably these rails will be used up too much by then. Also, this should be moved by 1, so I can actually access both of these splitters from both sides. And yeah, the actual stream title suggests that I want to do something with yellow science, which might take a while to set up. One important step would be to get sulfuric acid somewhere. Not sure where I'm producing this, maybe only in these 2 factories, and that would be not very much. I might also only have 2 factories producing sulfur, but maybe there's another one, yes. And this is also slightly unique. All the sulfur is going through this forest into the forest station. Maybe I could even plant a few more trees in the middle there. Sadly, I can't place a ghost. I would have thought, can also not tell the robots to build it anywhere. So that's a bit sad. I have to actually be there and plant the tree seeds. But yeah, I could also produce sulfuric acid in the vicinity of this place. I also added a few more solar panels, and by a few more I mean a lot. Basically all these rail blocks are full of solar panels and accumulators, because I had some power issues in between and I didn't really want to set up nuclear that much at this time. But then I also managed to send some legendary fusion reactors over. So these are legendary fusion reactors and legendary fusion generators. So they now produce a bunch more energy. Need to look at the exact numbers. I guess if I merge all of this, you can see the orange line is the fusion generators. And there you cannot really see much because everything wobbles too much. And in 50 hours you can see the green line is the fusion generators, and I certainly increased it a little bit in the recent maybe 2.5 hours. So that's of course before I started the stream. And the solar power also has increased, and therefore the steam turbine power, which is mostly fission reactors, has decreased a little bit, or it doesn't have to be that much anymore. And accumulators could be disregarded because of course I have to charge them with something before they can put their energy into the system. And apparently the most energy consuming thing is the electromagnetic plant, followed by foundry and assembling machine and labs. And of course the accumulators charge during daytime, mostly, I guess. Not sure if they might also be charged by other processes. And it's good to have these big stackers where trains can just wait. But also it would be nice if all places are supported by enough trains. I hope not all trains are just waiting at one station and then one might be not getting enough stuff. Anyway, I wanted to look at sulfuric acid for blue circuits. That's what this train station is named, because it's specifically for that purpose. And this is where I get molten iron, apparently. I sent calcite here with the train, mine directly into foundries, and then get the molten iron into trains. Might even try to set up a second station that does this, just to have more throughput. Not sure if that's necessary, but if I ever see problems with molten iron, I should increase the throughput. So this is a copyable crossing, of course. At some point all of these 4 crossings were called like that, just like here. And then I made the whole crossing a blueprint, I think. Or maybe it was just one wing of these. But yeah, I should get sulfuric acid now. I'm just thinking about where to build the station exactly. I might do that right here. Let's just try that. Didn't really do much yet, except building a few belts at the red circuit factory. Need to check whether anything breaks if I do that. I mean, some of the solar panels will lose energy connection. So I will just go there and then I will build the necessary infrastructure to produce sulfuric acid and send it there. And I will also try to replace some substations to actually still make this work. But also some of this might be removed. Maybe mostly what's on the left of here. This is just called default station name. I guess I re-decided a lot what these copyable crossings are called. Let's call this sulfuric acid pickup. I guess this might be yellow. Not sure if that's the exact color of sulfuric acid, but I will just try to produce that somewhere around here. I also need iron plates. Maybe I could get those in via a belt or just via molten iron, if that is anywhere nearby. Not sure if I could find this somehow. There's molten copper. And molten iron is there on the... No, it's not on the left, it's on the right here. So maybe I might be able to get the molten iron over to the right as well with some extra pumps. And then make some sulfuric acid somewhere around here. I of course also need to get a lot of water there, which I already tried doing here. I mean, this is pumping water into another system because it was probably too long in terms of pipe extents. I hate how loud this beacon opening sound is. Can be quite disturbing. Also, I don't need that many uranium rounds. And maybe at the moment I don't really need any Tesla turrets anymore. Want to see if that artillery is already built. I guess it will do some searching and then shooting. We can see where it shoots. Some biters are already interested in testing out my defenses. Okay, they will also be interested, I'm sure. But I won't see them for long. The radar coverage will vanish. They will visit me in a few moments. I guess it would be too long to wait until that. But these Tesla turrets down here are probably quite good at removing those biters. You can see on the right in the statistics over 1000 kills by this Tesla turret at the corner, and the ones next to it have about half of that, and the further you go back, the less kills the Tesla turrets have, because probably the biters don't make it much further than here. You can see a few of the remains there, and the other ones didn't even make it that far. They are still at the bottom of this dark area. My previous defenses here were just here and here. All of this area is newly acquired. But I still haven't removed the defenses on the left. But I have added some artillery and radar coverage also here on the left. I mean, radar not yet quite, but at least artillery, and that already does a few things. Not sure when I want to expand this. Expansion is always a bit tedious. And I don't mean the DLC, I mean the defenses and clearing out biters. This is not producing backwards. That's just a visual effect. Anyway, I should start producing sulfuric acid. I guess streaming the game might also just be the cause for the low FPS sometimes. Don't really have that low FPS when I'm not streaming. Not sure how many beacons I want to add. Maybe I should rather combine those together and send them into this splitter to the station, and the other ones on the bottom, at the bottom, will be sent into the sulfuric acid production. Let's see how I can set this up. I have quite a lot of sulfur in my inventory now. Okay. And now I will just try to send all of these things in here. And one thing I might do is just empty my sulfuric or my sulfur onto the belt here. You might think that the underground pipe is uncommon, but it's the bot. It's just hovering, and the quality sign, the quality icon doesn't wobble around. It would be a bit more, probably a bit more visual clutter, but also a bit more understandable if the icon also hovered around that weirdly. Then you wouldn't misinterpret to what this belongs. So there's some water already. Just need to get it down. And then the only thing missing is iron plates, which shouldn't be too difficult to get. I might even have a foundry right next to these beacons, so they can also use the effects of those. So this will be iron plates from molten iron. I guess there's no other way in the foundry to get iron plates. I almost want to show you another thing right now, but I will wait until I have set this up, otherwise I will forget what this is about. So how do I get over there now? I think I'll just have some underground pipes right there. Or almost right there. And some pumps. Just to bridge the gap, basically. And then I will need some more longer underground pipes. And also, what is this supposed to be? This is not a station to be used. And now I see that I might just be able to mark every station that is hidden below. So I told you that I can't reach this station, but if I zoom out enough I can click on that. And that way I can configure the station, rename it, and set a limit and something like that. So I guess that's today I learned. I'm also not sure right now how long one of these rail blocks is. And now I have forgotten where exactly I can build this. Probably there, and then there's a little gap in the pipelines that I need to fill with some pipes. And there I'm running into a belt. And this is where I will divert a little bit. I might also have a little storage area. Just don't know how to build this exactly. I think it doesn't really matter how many outputs they have. You can see on the left there's a little arrow showing a number, 181 meters. That is how far away this pipeline extent starts. And I think I can go about 320 before adding another pump. So that is still fine. This doesn't quite work. I have to build them manually, I guess. Also, why did I ever use 2 pipes? I guess that's really not necessary. The only thing that I needed to do actually was to provide more pumps. The amount of pumps basically regulates how much throughput the pipeline can have. I guess the amount of pipelines doesn't really matter, as long as in the pumping situation I use a good amount of pumps. Anyway, that is water under the bridge, as they say. For whatever reason people say that. So now this is producing sulfuric acid. I want to see how fast this can fill a tank or a number of tanks. I guess I might just have 4 of those tanks. And now you can see on the right it's filling quite quickly, and you could imagine it's 4 times as fast because there are 4 storage tanks to fill. If I only had 1 tank it would fill faster. And I think the limiting factor is how much the pipe can actually draw out. Because it says output full most of the time. And then I will get this over somehow to this station. Now I just want to find something like that, but with legendary pumps. I guess this is already here. And then I want to remove the underground belts. And then this will be for fluid wagons. And I seem to have misaligned this slightly, didn't I? At least this one, for some reason. This suggests to me that there's a mistake in there. Or maybe I just misaligned when placing it. I guess it's correct here, but it had to be placed one further down or something to be correct in this case. And now I also need a fuel. I guess I will use this fuel because this also uses potentially some quality fuel, which has, I think, higher acceleration and a little bit more higher top speed. It's nice to see trains going at the maximum top speed. But I guess I might not see that many of them because I'm not producing that much legendary nuclear fuel. I built this uranium setup recently because I was in a situation where I didn't produce enough nuclear fuel for my trains, and some trains already complained about not having fuel. From time to time I need to set new researches. As you can see, I'm already at over 2,100. I surpassed the current year a few days ago. And I moved over this fluoroketone cooling setup because I expanded my train network to also have long trains getting uranium. I also improved this whole setup a little bit. It was still quite old or using low quality miners. It's still using low quality modules because they don't really matter that much, at least this part of the mine. And I added a few more trains and some buffer stations or waiting areas while I didn't yet have this train line. At some point I might just remove the upper side there. And at some point I want to also move this fusion reactor over into this block. But that might still wait a few days or something. And what I built was this setup, which is now stuck. I guess I need to repair this to make sense again. So here I built a little I don't know why this does things like that. So it has a few of those copper cables in it. I guess it doesn't always work like this. Maybe I copied the idea in a wrong way. Someone had the idea of basically checking for each item whether it is more than 32 or 16, and only then can I grab an item, because right there are multiple qualities of that item, copper cable in this case, and I want to limit what kinds of items can be in a particular inserter at any moment. Maybe one problem is that I use two inserters with the same combinator. So maybe I will just have it be on one of them. And this needs to be removed. So I will only put stuff on the belt if there is more than 32 of something, and only that filter will get set by the combinator. I'm not sure if anything is actually correct. Might I use each? Probably not. I guess I have to say anything. And there I will not have to do anything. Maybe it has to be sorted by something, because multiple of these are above a certain number. Would be nice if it just used the highest one, because it randomly changes, even though it could just use the one that is highest in the list. Maybe I need another selector combinator. Might just try that out for one of those inserters somewhere. Doesn't have to be now, but basically this is using all the steel and copper plates in my system. I have over 750,000 uncommon steel, and I want to make solar panels out of them, and therefore for that purpose I am making green circuits of all kinds of qualities, because I have copper and steel already available, but not the green circuits. And then I can basically start with higher quality ingredients and get the higher quality solar panels out. And now this is working again. If I have too many low quality green circuits, I just send them back into this recycler setup. They will then make iron plates and copper plates of some quality. And then I have 5 different qualities of green circuit machines. And then I will hydrate. And I need to set more researchers. So I wonder if I can do anything here. Select input. I think that might be correct. Let's just move this over. There. I guess nothing happens yet because this is actually not doing anything. So I don't want to connect this. I want to connect to the selector combinator, although it should be somewhere near both of these areas. This is just where I'm trying to set this up without any interference. So, and basically I want to combine this and also the other one. And now this basically should choose the highest available item, or the most available item in these chests. Now I will set this back there. It will take a while until they arrive. Can I see the output? I can basically see that. But in this list you can see the highest number. For some reason, the basic copper cable is the chosen output. Not sure why that would happen. Maybe it doesn't really care about qualities. I'm not sure if the input signals are evaluated correctly. But at least now the uncommon items are put onto the belt. So that's good. Not sure what else I could do to improve this. This is basically my answer to having too many quality items in the storage. And my attempt at having a belt-based quality grinder rather than these bot-based ones. But they lead to a lot of stuff being left over in storage chests. For some reason there's always a surplus of certain items that I don't really need. I don't know why I have so much of those stone bricks. I might try to use them somewhere. Maybe feed them into the military science from time to time. I think that would be an idea. Why doesn't it count? I need to check. Yeah, I have 400,000 stone bricks. I guess if the chest is not yet built, it will not show how much is in the logistic storage. Maybe it doesn't yet count things as in the logistic storage. So basically now, while there are no trains delivering stone bricks, I will at least have some stone bricks go there. And I might now also limit this to only insert stone bricks if the stone bricks in the system are over 10,000. So that's how long I want to do this. But also these stone bricks are then going down into the main base or somewhere. Maybe to produce stone or electric furnaces. Right here maybe. Probably also some other purposes. At some point this whole bus will disappear. Just not sure when exactly. The frame rate is quite low again. Maybe there's a lot happening, or I'm not sure why exactly the FPS is so low in certain places. Also, I built a few of these self-made captive biter spawners. And some of them sometimes, or some of the eggs sometimes hatch. This will be soon, probably. I guess the closest ones are preferred by the bots. All of these laser turrets are of course filtered to only shoot biters. I guess I don't even have to use all of these, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. Probably they only produce... the eggs only produce the big biter. And I guess I had to use that many eggs to produce a lot of biolabs. I now have at least 11 new legendary biolabs. I guess it's 14 in total. And I should still connect this to be importing sulfuric acid. I will have a bunch of storage tanks in the back. Just to be able to cope with the amounts of sulfuric acid that's coming in. So getting through here might be a bit difficult without interfering with anything, maybe right on this lane. Okay, and now I have trains filled with sulfuric acid potentially. And I will already call them sulfuric acid trains. It's always good to start the group as early as possible. I guess all these train groups will have something to do with trains, so adding trains might be slightly too obvious. Something like a tautology, but I guess it don't really matter. And I will already create a bunch of those trains. I just don't know where exactly, where I don't interfere with anything. One problem is when trains will go through a certain place, they might crash into my temporarily placed trains, and these should just have the sulfuric acid pickup. And maybe the dump as well. Sulfuric acid dump. And I guess the train that was standing here also got the upgrade or the update to basically now go to the sulfuric acid dump station, which is where I want to have the blue circuit production soon. I wonder whether I will find that place. I would have gone in the wrong direction. So it would be here. Maybe not. Okay. Some other place wants sulfuric acid. I don't know where this is at the moment. I might have a look at these trains and see where they are going exactly. right there. I guess this is fine. I don't know why I made this there. Also, one issue is that all of these trains are just running through these stations because I didn't set any limits. Empty cargo. So that's important. So now, the next time they will go through there, they will actually wait. Is this right here? No, it's not. It is a little bit further to the right. So maybe I will build the blue circuit production slightly elsewhere. Which train? This one. For whatever reason, do you know? Okay. There was some problem with this train, apparently. Not sure why something would be temporarily unreachable. Maybe I will also use trains to deliver the red circuits to the new blue circuit factory. Once I have built this. No path. This might be weird. Why can it say no path and then it will path again? Let me just have another look at the red circuit thing. I guess it's the reason that the limit is not high enough. So now I will copy this station over, even though I already found a way to not have to do that. So now the limit is 6. And there are 5 trains with this stop. So whenever a train wants to go there, it can actually do that. Maybe one reason was also that I have this station that cannot ever be reached, so it would be good to just not have it there. Right there I also now have 2 loading stations. I'm not sure whether I might not be producing enough stone bricks. And I'm not sure why this isn't mining fast enough. It should be mining fast enough, but one reason is probably that I have this splitter there. How about I don't have this splitter there? And instead I will just mine backwards. I could also just have the splitter there. And now basically feed this in from here. Okay, yes, mining into a splitter should actually work. Maybe this can also provide the full amount of items. I don't know if maybe it doesn't actually work that way. How about I just do this instead, and then I will have more throughput there, potentially. Obviously that wasn't what I actually wanted to do right now, but it's a thing I just did. I guess since I now have properly connected this mining or stone bricks area to my regular rail block network, I can remove these rails actually. Just need to go there and make sure it happens properly. So now no train can go there anymore. And I can just remove all of that. Those rails are always difficult to disassemble if they are together with others. Not sure if this needs to be like that. Maybe one of them can be removed. Not sure what the default blueprint of that is. Okay, and now I want to make sure that I have red circuits delivered via a train. Just need to find the correct thing again. And now this is weird because the robots think they can build rails, but they are waiting for rail supports that I actually have in my inventory. But they just didn't decide to build them, and they decided to rather wait for slow bots coming from somewhere in the base. Another thing that I want to do right now is basically copy some part of this with in total 8 green circuit factories. Something like this from here. I guess I could have also taken that from basically from the blueprint library, where I should have this blueprint, but I decided to just make it again. So this should be working. There should be nothing interfering. It's just a bit offset because it's rotated. Although something is not right there. Oh yeah, it's somehow not correct. Or no, the problem there is that it's two different half blueprints. Basically this is 4 of those lanes per side going to the right, and these are 8 going to the left. That's why I couldn't properly put them next to each other. But it's good enough to build it right here. And this will already start producing copper cables, but not green circuits and not iron plates, because I haven't yet provided the iron. Not sure where exactly I can provide the iron in molten form. And also the copper needs to be provided from below somewhere to above. This is where I can feed in the iron. I just don't know from where, maybe here. So now half of this already produces green circuits. Since there are a lot of tunnels, I want to tunnel the tunnels, at least in these two locations. Oops. And luckily nothing has been produced here yet, so nothing does interfere or run away. This is of course a bit annoying that it's not quite symmetrical in a way, or not very similar. So maybe I will just do that again. And now all the 8 outputs, or how many are there? Maybe there are more than 8. I guess there might be 16. There are also some back here. Maybe all of them can feed into a 12 to 12 balancer somehow. Or right here I had... Well, there I didn't have any balancers, and there I had 2 4 to 4 balancers. I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway, I will try to get the molten iron over. And obviously I just missed another research thing. And the science per minute is going down in total, in general. You can see that here. It was quite constant for over an hour. Maybe even for almost 2 hours, but eventually it stalled. I'm not sure what the bottleneck is. Maybe it's purple science. Maybe it's rails. Guess I have to look at the labs to figure this out. It might be red and green science at the moment. This seems to be almost full, but not quite. So I might have to check whether red and green science might be emptying too fast, whether I need to improve the production or throughput. So far the trains are waiting most at the red science station. There's not enough copper plates. One thing I might do is just have the copper plate foundry quite close to this place. I will have another thing there. Might always finish this later. I might just connect the iron and the copper and then go to fix the red science. Where does this need to go? Probably right here. Oh, now the extents are too far. I can do this with a pump or two. Where are the power poles? I guess they are just in the middle so far, which is fine. I hope they are pumping fast enough for what this needs. And later I will have maybe blue circuit factories over here. And then this will use a lot of the green circuits. I don't think I want to transport this with trains and then have it transported to here. This would be quite silly to have trains do that. I mean, it would make sure that everything arrives in a sorted manner, but I don't really want to do it that way. Anyway, red and green. I did make a tag or pin. So I don't know if this is not fully utilized, if this couldn't actually be fully utilized by just one side of outputs. Also, this might have been in the early days of me trying to make these kinds of setups. Anyway, I will just build another one. Doesn't really matter that much. This should still be doable the way I'm doing it right now. The only thing that I basically need to make sure is that later I add the speed modules, speed beacons. And then I just need to make sure these things arrive where they need to be going. Might just use these beacons. And I will say input priority right, so it can use up this newly founded foundry. also the pin can go. Not sure if that's the main bottleneck. Might just assume that it is. So how much red science is produced and how much is needed? This of course is wobbling around a lot. That's 43,000 per minute. I guess the productivity makes up a lot, and also that I can use half of them only, or I only need to use half of them. So now I'm producing a bit more than I was in the last hours or whatever. Not sure if the overall production was higher at some point. Maybe it did never produce that much. Maybe never enough copper plates. And I could also increase the production of gear wheels. It doesn't ever seem like there's not enough gear wheels going through, but I have to see whether any factories that should be working are not working. Maybe. But maybe in that case they are just overhauled by other machines that can at this moment not do anything. This seems to be moving even though it doesn't look like it's moving. You see the different colors passing through. That's basically how the devs resolved the issue of things moving so fast that you can't see things moving. They added random alterations to the colors. So if basically the color is changing through the belt, this means that things are actually moving just too fast to be seen. You can also see on the right, on this belt, the movement, and sometimes you can only see the color movement if the belts are not apparently moving, but on the left side the colors stay the same. So there not much is actually happening. But I guess right now I will connect this belt there and the other belt there. And then hopefully also the apparent knot movement will stop. Now I can see here, this is not moving fast enough anymore. So what I might just do is use better balancer. I guess some parts of that old balancer will be taken away by base bots. Bots from the base. So now this will also be just moved there. Okay, I see that this might still be possible, so I will do it that way. I saw some issues, but they can easily be resolved. Namely, the fact that I couldn't or didn't think I could take gear wheels from here, but I can. So I will. And now they can be easily combined and can also feed down here. And obviously I didn't actually take anything from there. So we will see a little dip in the production statistics there from when I basically disconnected the balancer. And now that I added the new balancer, it should go up to the maximum again, hopefully. There should be enough red copper plates. And green science should also be delivered quick enough, produced quick enough. Might even take a few more belts out of there. This is a bit difficult to maneuver, but I can do this. And now we have 6 input belts and 4 output belts, so this should never stop. The only issue that I might see is that only the left side is used, but maybe this will balance out with time, since you can see here the left side gets inserted onto that mixed belt. The right side waits most of the time, but if this is ever not enough, then the right side will step in. It's just that the right side is most of the time blocked by already existing gear wheels in this case. It's similar on the other side with the copper plates. And hopefully this will resolve the science issue. It's already, at least in practice, back to the maximum. And I like how I have designed my train setup. It always looks like they do an extra turn. I guess they do. And maybe it's not the best design in terms of avoiding unnecessary blocking of the whole loop. But it's the best I could come up with in terms of having the stacker on the straights. And basically utilizing every angle of the roundabout for a station. So, since this should be fine now, I might just go up again to hopefully produce blue science packs. Blue circuits, I mean. There are too many colored things in this game. So I will default to saying a color and randomly saying a technical terms or technical term from the game. So at the moment I'm not utilizing this station. Not sure if I might just have this not be a station and instead just letting these green circuits go through there. And then basically going through here. Not sure how wise that would be. It's difficult to get through this place with this station existing. But it should be easy enough to get some belts through here. Basically that's just what I should do now. But also it's quite a hassle to set up each individual belt to go through here. That's why sometimes having some kind of default setup that sends things into stations, gets things out of stations in a different spot, and then just work with a few more trains. But I don't want to always use trains for everything. Wonder how fast these belts are actually moving. I guess some of the time they are just standing. Maybe some of the time the red circuit station is actually full, and at that point in time the green circuits are not utilized here, but you can see the color is moving again. So these belts are not standing still, even when it sometimes looks a bit like that. What I can do here is basically copy something like this, somehow turn this around. I wonder whether I might build the 12 to 12 balancer here. These should be, I guess they are not quite 12. Those are 10. Why are there just 10 belts? Oh, I see. I see. Yes, there is this underground belt, and it doesn't lead anywhere. However, it should lead there. And then I could have this basically going down. And a similar thing on the other side. Now I just need to see whether I can fit a 12 to 12 balancer here, or if I even want to. I guess. Almost. I just need to move these underground belts. So basically this will go like that. And then it will still go through without problems. Without obvious problems, I mean. And then somehow I can get this through. Maybe I don't have to use the substations in every place as I was before. So this will be slightly altered. And maybe the roboport will have to move, or I will have to go through here. So there should be paths. I'll just already make them. Just this signal will not function. I don't know if it's actually necessary. Maybe this is just a cargo cult. And now I need to get these belts through there. I guess it would be enough if I did 12 of them, or 8 of them at the start. There are 12 in total, but I don't need all 12, I guess, right at the start. Don't know how many I will need for my blue circuit needs. So I suppose if I have this there, I will have this there, there, there. So all of these belts can go somewhere, so I might as well just pretend that they are connected this way. How far does this go? There. That's good enough. Okay, now there are 8. And then I might think about how to get red circuits from there. And also I shouldn't actually get red circuits from there. How about I instead change this to there and change this station to something with red. Not that. I guess I have to search. Can I search for icons? I guess they are not called red circuits. So, red circuit drop. It's called advanced circuit, I suppose. So this is now the advanced circuit drop. And these ones will all go to the new station. I basically tricked them into believing that they have their workplace here, but instead it's up there. And this is easier because I only need to get fluids over here, and fluids are easier to transport than items on a belt. And for those items on a belt, I will just create the unloading station. Hope that's correct. Mostly. It's good that I didn't yet have any energy there. That way I now can add the balancer. I think that should be correct, and I should already have built something like that in other places. Some good version of this. I don't know where exactly I would have that, but it should exist somewhere. Going into a 12 to 12 balancer. I might not be able to find it easily enough, but I will search anyway. Oh, probably for the science. That's what I would expect now. Right here. This should work. Except that this is a bit closer than I would expect. There should be a better version somewhere. Not this one. Possibly this one. Yeah, there the tunnels are only gapping or bridging two blocks. Let's see whether this works. Except for a few belts that are unnecessary. Those ones are unnecessary. But now all the belts should properly be connected. And I now have to just add power. And now that train should go and get new red circuits. I want to now find a way to properly unload the fluids. Might do something like this. And again, I might be offset by one if I don't paste this correctly. But yeah, this time I'm basically pumping it out the other way, saving a few connections. And then I will get more sulfuric acid soon. Or that train will. Might just follow this train for fun. And we see that the train has successfully fetched sulfuric acid and will return to where I am. So at some point there will be a sulfuric acid train boarding this ring and yeah, arriving here at the train stacker where the trains basically wait for their job. Now I just have to actually build the factory for blue circuits. That will be a design task. Something with electromagnetic plants. I suppose I might just build them in a row like this. Maybe 8 of them at the start. And then another row of beacons. And productivity modules, although probably not. Yeah, let's just use speed modules instead. Let's see, yes, it's already at the limit of productivity. I can't have more than 300% productivity, sadly, and that is already surpassed by my research, because I have a lot of this processing unit productivity. I guess what I might also do just now is research a bit more scrap recycling productivity. I want to see how the labs are doing. Mining productivity is still at 557,000 science per minute. And at the moment it seems like there is enough pink science and orange science. Maybe also the other sciences are there good enough, so I might temporarily go to research productivity until I'm out of something. And now the research or the science per minute will go down because research productivity uses 120 seconds per research compared to 60 seconds for mining productivity. So it automatically is only at a maximum half as good as the other researches. Probably it might be difficult to get that to the same science per minute that I have now. I want to see if any lab is not working. There are some that don't have black science packs anymore. The Promethium science pack. So I guess this is the point where I will turn this off again, because I don't want to dip too far down. But instead I might go for scrap recycling productivity. I should still have enough of the Fulgora science. At least for a moment. And I will see or be surprised once this is all going down again. Obviously at the moment I'm only getting one belt full of pink and orange. That is because I'm only taking one inserter worth of science out of there. I might be taking a bit more by combining 2 belts at least. So I might be doing this, and then because one legendary stack inserter can't fully saturate one side of a belt, it's better to have it be combined by 2 ones. I might also try to send this over completely and also feed it into this balancer. But I think I can't even provide that many science packs. So it isn't really worth doing, I think. So Raichu is the Fulgora science pack and other things delivery ship. But it's still waiting for its charge of science packs. There are enough on the planet. I guess they will be sent up just now and then the ship can go. We will see how the ship starts probably in a moment. Once all these science packs arrive. Don't want to miss the moment when the thrusters turn on. Okay, I missed it slightly. But yeah, now it's moving. The ship is moving quite fast at 475 kilometers per second through space. You can see this is Raichu. And in this case, this is Pikachu. Pikachu is quite slow, just 101 kilometers per second. Basically, Raichu is 5 times faster than Pikachu. And Porygon is, I guess, about 440 kilometers per second sometimes, or around 400. But I will also get some more of the science packs right now from space. I guess those chests are still partly full at least. One of them is almost full and the other is less than half full. Once the back one, the right one, is empty, I will have less science per minute. So I guess I will be looking out for that point and trying to stop scrap recycling productivity research by then. But also a few science packs are trickling in, but it's not enough to support my current research speed. If that were to drop, or if the buffers were empty, then I couldn't really support that science speed. One thing I could theoretically do would be to connect all these chests to maybe a decider combinator, and if any of them is below a certain number or below 100 science packs, then I need to switch to another science research if I want to avoid ever dipping below 557 science per minute or K science per minute. And now the chests can refill. I guess I can't really get to more than a certain percentage. This has 9%. So I guess if I do that 11 times, I would have a full scrap recycling productivity research, but of course next time it will be more than 28 million science. Anyway, I should stop babbling on about science statistics. I should produce more blue circuits so I can make yellow science automagically. Maybe I will also have to produce low density structures elsewhere and cargo. No, what are they called? Robot frames? Flying robot frames? I guess just producing blue circuits is only one part of this problem. And also another issue will be to transform these engines with these green circuits and some lubricant that I need to bring in into the electric engines. Those ones. Engine unit, electronic circuit, and lubricant. And only then can I feasibly produce flying robot frames. And those are 4 ingredients. Steel might be produced on site from molten iron. Batteries will have to be produced, or yeah, I don't know where I would produce them. Maybe near where I am producing sulfuric acid at the moment. So this is receiving blue circuits, but only for something like, I don't know. Apparently it was necessary at some point. But where are these blue circuits going now? I mean, these factories or Tesla turrets need processing units, which means blue circuits, but they are not getting them via a belt at the moment. So I guess this is done by flying robots. But it's quite nice to have this full, or part of the full Fulgora setup on Novice by just importing the holmium ore. I guess you can do many things except the Fulgora science pack and the electromagnetic plant, and of course you can't build the recycler on or anywhere other than Fulgora. But that doesn't need any holmium ore or holmium related items. I guess one might say holmium derived items. Anyway, I need to send a lot of green circuits in here and some red circuits. At least it's only 2 solid ingredients. One of them is not needed very much. I wonder how this would fare if I only had 1 or 2 belts of green circuits feeding in. So I might think that only 1 blue circuit output belt is necessary and 1 red circuit input belt. Not exactly sure how I will build all of this. Whether I want to have it be as mirrored as I had the red circuit factory. This is mostly mirrored. At least eventually in the end. At the start I had everything going from the left to the right and then split off every time. And I guess now this is stopped because red circuits are full. which will be not true anymore now, so it will restart production. I wonder what the red circuit production is overall. So it's wobbling around a little bit. It's not at its maximum, probably because the demand is not as high. If there were more trains waiting all the time to serve or to be served, then this would be much worse, probably. I want to just create another blueprint of this because I might need more of these. So this group is only for, or it pretends to be only for these furnaces, but it also, the red circuits are also provided to the productivity modules. I want to see whether the trains that are going here, yeah, they are also in this group. Instead, I should give them a new group. Change train group. How do I do this? I hope the other trains are not affected by this. No, they aren't. Okay. So I will just assign no group. I don't know if there's a hotkey to reassign them to something else very quickly. I think there shouldn't be any trains coming from the north here, so I could just do that. These trains will now be fueled by bots, and then they will collect some red circuits for furnaces and productivity modules. And I guess this might just be red circuit trains. I will just have the red circuit as a group name. And then I will also assign that group to those other two trains. Don't really want to have them bound to a certain purpose. Anyway, how much will this need? I don't think it will only produce 14 blue circuits per second. Or is that realistic? Maybe that's realistic. I have to provide power to see whether that's true. Okay, it's 49.8 blue circuits per second. I guess the beacons were not considered because they were not powered. Not sure where exactly I will put the power poles. For now, just every few machines on the third block. I guess now I might just get some sulfuric acid over. And I will not yet connect this. I will only connect this once I'm sure about each connection. 249 green circuits per second. I'm not sure how much one inserter can do per second. 6 times 16 maybe? 2160 degrees per second means 6 full arm swings, and 16 is the stack size. So that means 96 per second. So to get more than 249, I want to have 3 inputs there. And then 1 red circuit and 1 output. I guess just these 8 green circuit belts are not enough, maybe even not 12. How about I copy this and I remove the rails. Okay, now all of them are going through. That's 12 belts of green circuits. And 1 green circuit can carry 240 items per second. I don't know if that counts both sides. I guess the belt speed might only refer to one side of the belt. Not sure whether it does. And that is a very long way to go for those green circuits. Oops. Didn't really see those belts there, those rails. My brain totally didn't acknowledge their existence. I'm still not sure how many green circuits will actually be on that belt. I'm also not sure how many blue circuits I will actually need. But I know that I might just use this rail or remove this rail and instead build a station up there to get all the blue circuits. So there are quite a lot of substations that don't really make sense. I hope everything is still connected. So this connection can now disappear. I guess this was at one point necessary. Oh yes, there was a land bridge, basically. I totally missed this, or forgot the time that this was relevant. Basically, around here I had a lot of defenses. There might even have been a biter nest there. I don't know if this floor is biter nest related. Not sure if I could see anything similar here.
We have an intruder!
How did he get in? In through the window?
Hello, trees. Thank you very much for the Reingebäumel. Hello everyone, hello all the raiders. I hope you had a good, nice stream and days. Hope you have good days these days. I'm basically building a factory with a lot of trains. Hello Mancho, Großstadtre, Stiftung Marentist, and Anki. I'm trying to produce a lot of stuff here. And already solved some issues in the factory. And also I survived yesterday, which is already, I guess, the most challenging thing that happened to me in the recent weeks. Difficult to follow all these trains. Anyway, if you want, you can always tell me your experiences or however you feel. Hugs are well received, thank you. Those rockets are quite loud. Also the rockets outside that people sometimes incinerate. I wish they didn't. I wish they played Factorio and then just stopped having all these fireworks. Many Umwege and much confusion in Hollow Knight. I guess I can relate to confusing games where I try many things and don't know where to go or where the easiest way to go is. But it's good to have some small victories. I'm very happy that I don't really have to fight any more bosses in this game. But I still have the feeling of achievement and also of pressure in my hands when I think about winning against Hades. Didn't really win very much there. It's also quite a boss heavy game. I guess I will now try to copy this and ignore a few sections of that. And then snap to grid relative, and this should work. Yeah, I hope you can do some good after stream care. It's good to hear about Bommelin's Hades achievements. And I will hydrate. And now I will just copy all these inserters and inputs, and I guess that is too much, but then just take it away again. And now I want to somehow get enough stuff into these things. I also wish you a good day and the rest of the holidays and next year, of course, if we don't see each other again. Okay, I guess this was already almost too far, but I'm not exactly sure where I want to have more of those factories. Maybe 8 factories is not enough. I might just remove the outputs of the 4 or the not 4. And now I was thinking about maybe building the 9th factory back. I'm not entirely sure how to build this, because I don't really know how many green circuits are actually going on one belt. Should have remembered this. But I don't. So one idea would now be to have 3 belts per 2 factories. That might be too much, but it's better to have too much than too little. This fits almost very well. Need to put new researches on the queue. I mean, I don't really need to, but it's good anyway to do more research. And I will copy something like this to all of these places. And then I just need to build something similar everywhere. This almost fits, but I guess it's fine. Okay, we have the green circuits. I don't know if they will be enough or too many, but if they are too many, I might just do some splitting and also send them elsewhere. Now I just want to have a station here that accepts blue circuits. It will pick up blue circuits. It will have a blue color, obviously. 127, which is half of 255 almost. Or it would be, I guess, depends on whether you want to have 256 as the last number. But I guess 255 is the highest number for colors you can have here. That's why I always take half of that -1. Anyway, I will have a few trains here that could arrive there. Just need to set them up. They will be getting blue circuits. I will have a fuel provider. And more loading station blueprints. I think there I would always use those splitters. Although, thinking of something else, only a few of the splitters, and in front of that I will have a 12 to 12 balancer. Not sure how to set this up correctly and compactly. And now each of these will go into one slot there. I guess I might also go to the leftmost input of each splitter. And now this should be good. I'm not sure how far this should go actually. I might have this on a different height, so to speak. This might then always be balanced. I have to see whether this fits everywhere. So I might now think that this is a bit overpowered or doesn't match what I can actually get out of this factory. But I will try to live with that for now. This is already balanced. I don't really need to balance this anymore. Just need to get it in. Not sure how many of these red circuits I will actually need. Maybe I should split them. Only need 25 per second. So one of them might provide up to 4 of those inputs. Maybe even more, but for now I'm okay with 4. I'm out of splitters. I should just wait here and let the robots deal with the rest. If I provide a robopod. I guess once these belts are placed, which I could also do myself now, I only need to connect the sulfuric acid and then the blue circuits should be produced. And now I want to look how fast this actually produces things. I guess I won't see that for long because I didn't connect the outputs properly. How many splitters do I have? I guess I'm just ordering 50. That's not really much if I want to build a full balancer, then I'm mostly out of them quite quickly. Anyway, I will just connect all of these 4 lanes individually. Okay, and then just connect the rest, and then I should have some blue circuits going into trains very soon. There's already a train standing there. I don't know if it will accept. I guess it will accept blue circuits now. And this now means after the autosave I might look at the factory and see how fast it uses up green circuits. And I think the production would be still fine if I just have one output belt per 2 of those. Want to see how compressed that will be after some time. There will be gaps. But I guess none of these belts will stand still. Eventually I might have more than these few machines. Maybe even in a row. One problem is that I can't really see how much of that is actually moving. Are they all moving? Are some of them standing still? What I could just do is add more machines here and see how far this goes. Basically double everything. Just have to move the beacons. They are not perfectly aligned. And one thing I might do is just send 1.5 belts to all of this, rather than sending 3 belts to all of this. The easiest way to do this would be splitting each of these, but also first providing... I already have this blueprint. First providing these with red circuits. And also having some output configured correctly. Okay, now the red circuits are arriving. That's good. I'm really not sure how many of them I need. At what point I could send less of them or have one of these lanes go into more machines than 4. And there's already sulfuric acid inside as well. They are just pumping it through basically. Now I just want to connect the outputs as well. Again, some biters hatched apparently. I'm never sure how many of them actually hatch from a bunch of eggs, because many eggs at once are spoiling in the moment, in one short moment. And then I'm never sure whether all of these 100 eggs would then spoil into biters all at once. But yeah, sometimes I get those notifications that some of my machines were damaged, apparently by biters. But it's not really that damaging, since I have a lot of turrets dealing with that. This is in the way. Don't actually need this. I guess at the moment I can't really test this because it's because this factory is already satisfied with green circuits, and I can't see how many would only be used by this machine. Also, this is the wrong way around. I guess this would be one way to test it, just have it all be only half connected. Anyway, I want to now go to the next task, which would be low density structures. So there's still some plastic. I might just have low density structures maybe on the left here. Don't really need to have this anymore. I mean, this is for trains that I just set up that just need to drive away. Still need to get these other rails. And I guess I want to have I could get the molten copper from there. Molten iron. I mean, I might also just get it from here without pumping it into a station before. And then the plastic. Maybe I will not only have red circuits here, but also low density structures. I don't really have to go very far to get there. And I will probably have to deal with the blue circuits later again, rather than finishing that now. So now I will build another station wing. And also there is a problem with a pipe. And now the molten copper is connected again. I hope there are no other issues. I guess there are some signals that didn't yet get built for some reason. Have a bunch of green circuits that I should throw in here, for instance. And I guess the gear wheels are still from when I fixed the red science production over there. That is still going fine. This is also going fine. I have enough green and red science packs. The research is also still going at the top level. I want to see the labs again, or the trains that are waiting there. So this is all backed up. And there are no trains going here at this moment, except this one. But some lanes are empty for a short amount of time, so this might lead to science going down in a moment. Not sure if the purple science production has gone down significantly. This is still a mess, and I don't really know how to fix this easily. I wonder whether the combination there of these belts might lead to some stopping of some machines, or whether it's mostly input limited. I guess it might never say that the output is limited. So I need to probably just provide more rails to certain places here. For instance, this position seems to be very satisfied with rails. Never stops producing, probably. Other factories, however, seem to sometimes run out of rails. Whenever this turns red in the background for a few frames. At this point, this doesn't produce the science. Hello, Rory. Hope you're having a good day. I'm having one of those days at the factory. And I don't really see through this mess. I'm not actually here right now. So I don't know if this will get built easily. This is a labyrinth of transport belts. it should get built eventually. Sadly, I can't see when a robot is coming to build this. Would be nice to see. I guess there's some debug view to see this maybe. But I think it makes the game a bit more ugly. Some people would argue that the game is already quite ugly, but I guess that's subjective. I want this splitter to be built relatively soon. Otherwise, this was a bottleneck. And then these three. And then I can see whether this factory will be constantly supplied with rails. And then hopefully never stop producing. But it might of course lead to other factories having some shortages. These last ones seem to sometimes be out of rails as well. I would expect that I could take belts or rails off this belt and then try to work this through without interfering with other belts too much. Oops, I'm already too far. So then having a splitter. And then I can feed these things in there. And then I want to see whether other factories are still sometimes experiencing shortages. I guess that's the case. It's also difficult to fix these shortages in the short term. There are always a lot of rails on the left side from our perspective. I don't know how to easily fix that. At least not in every place. Maybe I can do it for some places. And that might help. This will basically balance the both sides. And then some produced rails that are produced there will make it through. Some of these factories say output full. There are too many rails. Others, however, will say input ingredient shortage. I don't know why. Everything seems to be not enough. Okay, yes, some factories obviously have output full because I'm currently rebuilding the output. Not sure if I have to produce more steel here. Might have to build a second foundry setup there. Anyway, I think I got distracted. Also, why does this wait? Probably some items need to be taken away there. Some 100 items. I might just go over there and do that myself before this takes too long. This might also get a balancer. Not sure if this needs a balancing act. Apparently this is still full most of the time, so it might help to balance this somehow. Maybe not right there. Because I also need to get it around. I want to now look at my statistics in terms of producing rails. It looks a bit like the overall production is now higher than it was before, but it might also just be very temporary. And in terms of purple science, might also be better than before. Merry Christmas to you too, if you celebrate. I celebrate having a lot of free days from work to play games or to hopefully at some point do some of my projects. I guess games could also be considered projects. I guess here it would be helpful to have a splitter. Not sure. There are still a lot of trains waiting for purple science. Seems like the first of these station places is always empty for some reason. I wonder if there is a reason for that. Normally this balancer should balance these things perfectly. I hope there's not one train that's not properly limited. Maybe it's just random. If the other chests are full, then more science packs should go to these last, or this first station, depending on the viewpoint. Want to look at the statistics again, just to see if it's more constantly at a higher level. At least the science production or consumption is high enough. I guess I could now just ignore this and go back to where I would produce the low density structures. which might be here. And this might be the station for it, which I will just call the icon for low density structure, and then pickup. And then the color might be some kind of brownish. I guess that's basically half orange. A mix between black and orange. Might also be the color of stone in this game. Where do I have stone? I guess stone isn't craftable and therefore not in this menu, but it should be somewhere. I guess, yeah. The color is difficult to discern for any given item. Okay, now I just want to build the station loading parts. And loading low density structures will probably take a while. Not sure how many of them I can produce in a short amount of time. And this time I will just have these little splitter pyramids or triangles, and then a 4-to-4 balancer, leading into each one of them. Didn't even build the factories yet, but I guess that will not be too difficult. Obviously I will need a lot of foundries and beacons. And I also want to place some of those roboports in certain positions. And then I will power them, and then I at least get items that I might use in the meantime back from some robots from the base. And now I just need to produce or place foundries and provide them with speed modules. I think the low density structure research is already high enough to basically make productivity modules unnecessary in foundries. Not sure whether that's the case for assembling machines as well. But I just need to provide plastic as an input and then molten iron and molten copper. Molten copper is right here. And I will try to reduce the amount of inserter slots that I could block. And this is where molten iron arrives. I just need to then grab it from here. That almost works, but not quite. And I need to be aware of the fact that I have molten copper there and try to not interfere with that too much. I guess that worked. I'm actually there. And I'm actually too fast to build things sometimes. So sometimes remote view is easier to handle because I don't run so fast and can control myself a bit better. Anyway, assuming I will get a lot of beacons around the whole thing. How fast will this machine then be? 80.6 low density structures per second, and I need 103 plastic per second, and quite a lot of the molten metals. I hope the trains can provide that, otherwise I will have to just produce more of that. And luckily there's still enough plastic to go around. I have already forgotten how much that was. 100? 103. I guess this way I might just figure out whether one belt full of plastic, whether that's enough or not for 103. And the way I will do this is by just getting in there and grabbing from this one belt multiple times. However, first I will place some output inserters. And then just use a balancer. Might also do the same thing again. I think it should be enough to just have one. I did remove the inserters again because I want to first try to see what happens if I don't add another one. So this other lane is just a precaution. I might just build more of these setups if one of them is not enough. Let's see how fast this produces things. Molten copper is problematic. It seems like independent of that, I will be happy with just these two inserters. Theoretically, just one might even be enough. But for some reason, molten copper is getting used up quite heavily. I don't know if this can be done any differently. And I don't know for how many frames the molten copper is not enough. Could I maybe just provide a bunch of pumps? It's still not happy. How about I add a storage tank right there? Not sure if this will help. I guess one pump will also not increase anything because the pump is, or the pumps were not at maximum speed yet. I think it's just how much the foundry can take in per second. And maybe that's just not enough, so I will just add efficiency instead. And now it's satisfied, probably. So the train will get filled, or it's already filled, and then the chests will get filled. And primarily the chests at the bottom will get filled first, because the inserters grab all the items. No items make it through to the other side. And I think, yeah, the speed has reduced. It only produces 68 per second and only takes 87 plastic per second. I guess with this kind of setup I could change how this is provided. I might just be able to copy this almost. Remove this for now. I could have one inserter there and one there, and then just combine the outputs down here. This still needs the molten iron and copper. And now it also produces. Oops. I need to basically change this. I wonder why there is a limit on the molten copper input. There's no other way I could put that in except maybe if I had a pump there. I might... No, I don't know if that actually works, but... How much copper does it need? It now needs 4.3 thousand. And one legendary pump can only do 3,000 per second. So even if I added a pump there, it would not be putting through enough stuff. I mean, I could try something, but I don't think it will work that way. So let's assume I will take these away and do it like this. And then I will again change the modules, and now it's again not always getting enough copper. I guess what I can do is not change all the modules. Now it seems to be happy always. But I might also just keep it the way I had it. And it's still the same amount of happy. Okay, that didn't change anything. But it's good that I can basically have only one beacon with efficiency modules. Maybe even half a beacon. But now it sometimes has shortage, so I guess it's fine to just have one full beacon with efficiency modules. And because that's probably still not enough, I might just have this mirrored. And then some substation to give power. And then I need to provide plastic. Not sure if it might now not be enough plastic for all of these machines. I guess that would be good to figure out once I have provided all of these machines with molten copper. I guess now the chests are actually full, so right now I couldn't really find out whether that's enough or not. Sometimes forget whether I'm in remote view or not. And yeah, I still want to provide that copper. And iron. It's good that the length fits exactly for this kind of setup. So this is molten iron, this is molten copper. Molten copper is already going there, so I should provide that first. And then the iron. And now, what is the issue? Oh, this is already producing something, but the outputs have no place to go yet. So I will give them a place to go. And for the other one, the iron is not actually arriving properly. Okay, this is producing things, but only temporarily until the belt is completely filled. And this needs to have the iron connection. And then it will also produce until the belts are filled. Which is about now, at least for this one. And then this belt will get filled in no time. Okay,